Hi everyone, welcome back to Spiritual Growth Tarot. I'm Denise, and today I am reading for Tuesday, May 26th, and I'm using the Marchetti Tarot by Ciro Marchetti. I always mispronounce his first name. Okay, and so this is how I allow for reversals. So close your eyes if it makes you a little seasick or dizzy. I'll try to go slow. Okay, so I'm putting my intention into the cards, and I am thanking all my guides, guardian angels, for being here with me, my team in spirit, and aligning, of course, with the universal forces of love, which is also truth and wisdom. And I'm asking for 3 cards to help us with the day. And also for any like spiritual message that we may need to know, of course, to heal our souls. That's my main objective, intention. But today we have to remember that it's the full moon lunar eclipse in Sag. It's on the Sag-Gemini polarity, which is a mutable polarity, which has to do with us being more adaptable and being willing to change. So, because the full moon itself will be, in Sag, and it's at 5 degrees, so it's at the polarity of 5 degrees Sag and Gemini. But if we just always go for the truth, Sagittarius is all about following the truth. It's a fire sign, and it's ruled by Jupiter. So the best thing we can ever do is just always ask for the truth, and then try to adjust our belief system to whatever is real, absolute truth. Now, there's a difference between, the truth of our real feelings that need to be honored, and then absolute truth of spiritual law, universal law. And so it's both. You have to honor the real feelings, the real human feelings that come up, because they are a part of our reality, and they're not meant to be suppressed and pushed down at all, ever. They're meant to be processed through, and then, of course, when they're flowing purely, then they're flowing freely, I should say. Then you're aligned with, the pure wisdom in the universe. And it can be challenging sometimes, though. So, but with these cards here, what we have is the 4 of Pentacles, 4 of coins in this deck. And you can see this is the theme. It has to do, Ciro has, so funny, the way he always manages to put his initials somewhere in the artwork. It's like, way to go, dude. But anyway, yeah, so this is really interesting. I mean, normally this is all about healthy boundaries on the soul level, because the coins and pentacles are all about the material realm. But there's an interesting message here with we have a man in a mirror, and we have or a man in a picture, and then we have the 2 hands coming out. So this brings home that deeper, one of the main meanings with the 4 of Pentacles, 4 of coins, 4 of materials, whatever you want to call it, which is all about being sure that we're balanced in our holding, taking, and our giving, so that we're not greedy. Now, greediness just comes from a belief in lack. And, we can see that all over our greedy politicians that they want to just take and take and take, and don't want to work for their paycheck, and don't want to give. So this has to do with balancing out, because it's a 4, so we're in that realm of boundaries and structure. And we're needing to remember how important it is to stay within a structure that works well. But then I think it has to do with the adaptability that is needed now in order to, because we can break through paradigms and structures that have held us in the past. And it is really important to always look at where we're giving our energy. I mean, I feel there's a lot of commonality here with the Six of Coins, where there's the balance of in the Six of Coins, there's the balance of the giving and receiving. And sometimes you're on the generous side and sometimes you're on the receiving side. And that it's important for all of us to remember that we are all interdependent upon each other for our well-being. And if we don't make ourselves more important than others, as long as we stay, I think this is the main message with the Four of Coins, as long as we stay within that boundary of which is the right thing to do at the time. And it can change, it can change day by day, situation by situation. And but this has to do with, the structure of our resources. So that's what's on the table. It has to do with protecting ourselves. It has to do with what we do possess, the things that we do possess, because remember, we've got the box here. and it has a lockbox on it too. So are we going to put things in the lockbox and just keep it locked? Or are we going to make sure we, pay our bills on time? Don't hold on to it. Let it go. Be grateful you have the money and just pay the bill, right? And then on the deeper soul levels, it can have to do with our self-confidence and our security in ourselves as a human being, as a human physical manifestation of spirit. And that is especially the message, I think, because we have the Two of Cups reversed. Straight up, it's about a union that's happy and that we're attracted to. And it can also be healing. It's, in the traditional Rider-Waite, there's the caduceus that shows that, forces coming together in a loving manner are often very, very healing. But it can also bring in, like any medical type of unification. So when this Two of Cups comes through reversed, that brings in that element of there's something out of balance. There's some like drifting apart from somebody who's maybe too controlling with money and resources. And it doesn't have to be money. It can be any type of material resources. It can be our time and energy. For some of us, the message can be not to waste any heart energy on people who don't receive us or who don't, reciprocate or pay it forward. Like I'm all for giving when I know someone's paying it forward, whether or not I receive it back. That doesn't always matter to me at all. But when there's a drifting apart in relationship, it can affect our sense of inner security. That can be another message here. That might be something else that's on the table for the day. And it might just be that we're not interested anymore with people in our physical realm, Four of Coins, physical realm, who maybe we're not interested in people anymore who don't come from the heart. Maybe it's too boring. I experienced that last night when I was watching a program called The Nevers, which my dear friend recommended, and it actually was pretty cool. But I got to the last episode, and it was too materialistic. It was too grounded in just the material realm, and there was no feeling that I could get into. And I ended up turning it off. It's like, I don't want to waste my time with this anymore. So it can be something simple like that, because I couldn't feel the heart. I couldn't feel any type of heart connection between any of the actors, and it was written into the script that way, of course. So it became boring to me because there was nothing for me to, I guess, hook into, I suppose, or be with, or there was nothing to feel. So I didn't care. And of course, I don't like feeling other certain things like, violence. I always turn away from that too. But yeah, the whole show the whole program had quite a lot more violence in it than I can handle, actually. But there was a heart connection up until the last episode. So I don't know if I'll even finish it. So anyway, with the, what do we have here? The Eight of Cups? Yeah, had to look at that one twice. We have like a merman. And the sign of Pisces. Yeah, that's true there. The Eight of Cups comes through. And here's his little Ciro Marchetti signature. But anyway, this card comes through when we've done all we can and we're having to move away. This is really interesting, this image of a jellyfish and everything being at the bottom of the ocean, because that's how it feels when you've done everything you can. But I'm not going to talk about that too much because it came through reversed. So the reversal of the Eight of Cups brings in a completely different meaning where we're in stagnation. And that happens, and that can sometimes have us feeling lazy. And laziness is not to be judged as something wrong. What the true meaning of laziness is about is there's a fear of feelings that are coming up. And that's how I feel this Eight of Cups can definitely, reversed, can definitely be read. So on a spiritual level, I feel like the message here is that for our inner security, to be self-sufficient, to have our self-confidence, we do have to go in a different direction than relationships where there's no heart connection. We do need to, if you're in a job that you don't care about, if you're working for a company that doesn't seem to care about other human beings, and it's just all about the money, you are going to feel like you need to go in a different direction, and it will trigger our fear of change. It will. It's just, it's part of the human predicament. We do have to go through many experiences, I guess is the best way to say it, of different levels of fear in order to heal it. This card also, the Eight of Cups reverse, can also be, sometimes the message can be that it has to do with our low self-esteem. And that especially is true with both of these. With the Two of Cups reverse and Eight of Cups reverse can especially be true when we grew up in homes where there wasn't enough money, or we had one parent who really held on to the purse strings and made you feel like you weren't good enough unless you did all your chores and or maybe had a little job like right away, rather than encouraging a child to foster their own creative self-expression. There might have been too much of a focus on earning money. And those of you who are close to my age, I'm 66, we grew up, our parents were like the Pluto and Cancer generation, and here we are, the Pluto and Leo generation, and our parents were coming from security because they grew up with the Great Depression, or they were born right into the Great Depression. And you can imagine what, our grandparents instilled upon them, and it was because this is a perfect example of honoring the real feelings, in that they had real human experience. They had actual very good reason to feel unsafe and to always save money because, going through the Great Depression, anybody who didn't, well, actually, it's not just people who didn't save money. It was people who lost their money because the bank stole it. or stole it, I guess is the better way to, there's no D on the end. The bank stole it. So, there was that. So we have this like cellular memory in our souls, and it's in our body, it's in every part of us, where we have the past that we're trying to heal. And if we just go into the realm of manifesting feelings from the past that need to be processed through because they're not appropriate at this time in our growth. They will hold us back. They're not appropriate for our current level of evolution in order to move forward. In order for us to move forward, what we're going to need to do is be willing to feel all of our feelings and know that as we do that and we make the distinction between what feelings are aligned with abundance and which feelings are not, then we can sort things out and we can come through the other side, and then we will have more life force flowing through our bodies. And there, you won't even be thinking about being stagnant. It'll be more about you go through your life of like, okay, I need to rest now because I'm tired. But you're not afraid of feeling. You're not afraid of being in a human body and feeling that, that experience of, yeah, I get tired. Or I wake up in the morning and I have good energy, or I wake up in the morning, I'm sore and I realize I did too much. It's like it's all a part of the human experience, and we're not afraid of actually having that experience. So we don't stay stuck in the past, because when we're stuck in the past, that's because we're needing to re-experience something that has been holding us back, which is always aligned with a false belief. It's very, very simple. You just remember it that way. So with the Eight of Cups reversed, we can be avoiding painful feelings, or we can be avoiding fear. And the fear is usually, that creates, the fear creates stagnation. And the fear is usually, we're afraid of losing something, or we're afraid of people not loving us anymore, or someone not caring for us. We're afraid of losing money, physical power. We're afraid of having our healthy boundaries. This could look at, or this combo here could look at a pattern that I caught myself in years and years ago when I was healing, was that I would sometimes avoid intimate or deeper relationships. I didn't mind having all kinds of relationships, but the deeper, more intimate ones were a little scary to me, because I felt like if I were to be intimate like that, then I would have to submit. So I was avoiding real love, deeper love, because I had self-esteem issues around if I really love, because that was my relationship with my parents. Like if I really loved, then I had to submit to, to them, whether or not they were loving. Or submit to, taking care of the family, whether or not it was a loving experience for me. I hadn't found my way yet of having that balance between, you know what, kiddo, you can say no, right? Because my parents taught me if, at 2 years old, if I said no, I got my face slapped. Or if I said no, and tried to, keep something for myself, I got my hand slapped. Even if I reached out to touch something that I wasn't supposed to, I got my hand slapped. So, when you're raised like that, and this is the way a lot of parents raise their children in, the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and maybe even still now do, some of them who are very mentally ill. And you can imagine how they were raised, like what trip their grandparents put on them, and great-grandparents, and on and on. So we are evolving. But these three cards, to me, spell out self-esteem issues that stem from not having a healthy boundary. And we don't have a healthy boundary until we understand our past and we work through it. So if it's just the mundane level of the day, energies for the day, or if it's the deeper meaning of the full moon eclipse, then this could be a pattern that we're learning for the next 6 months to heal. We're learning to heal that, how to heal, how to create healthy boundaries will be what's on the table for healing, is what I'm trying to say. And if it's just a message for the day, it would be, if it's just a simple daily, day message, it would be careful of investing energy and time with people who don't really connect with you, who you can't connect on a heart level with. And don't be afraid to take self-responsibility and walk away. Because if you do that, if you take self-responsibility in everything, and you've done, let's pretend that these came up straight up, came through straight up. The deeper meaning with this card, at least to me, has to do with you've done all you can. With the Eight of Cups, we've done all we can, and we have to go somewhere else. In the images in this card, you can see, my goodness, he's at the bottom of the ocean, and he needs to get up and get some air. And we can see that, we've got, like, I don't know if that's a time clock there. We've got some type of a mechanism that can get you into a different, it's like a jellyfish under this big Pisces dome, which is kind of odd, but I think the deeper meaning has to do with you have to get air. You have to get up and out of something that is no longer for your highest good. So I think the deeper message here is don't be afraid to do that and to create healthy boundaries. And then, the real loving relationships will come in. And then your healthy boundaries, your self-responsibility, which is a key word for me with the Eight of Cups, your self-responsibility will kick in and you will do what is right for you. And it can change in any, situation, according to relationship and according to evolution of relationship and time in relationship. So, okay. Well, that's all I have for today. Thanks, you guys. Okay, take care. Bye.